And we're in St. Louis where the 1-12 Rams will take on the 6-7 Texans. Game was blacked out here in St. Louis. Couldn't sell it out. Gary Kubiak has got a December record of 11-6. And Steve Spagnuolo, the former defensive coordinator of the New York Giants, is in his first year as the head coach of the St. Louis Rams. Rams lost the flip, so they'll be kicking off. Here is Josh Brown to boot it, and deep back for the Houston Texans is Andre Davis. Last season, of course, he had the 3 kickoff returns for touchdowns, or like 2 years ago, he had those kickoff returns for touchdowns. Ever dangerous and always a threat to score. So it's the Rams and the Texans, and here we go inside the dome in St. Louis. Andre Davis will take it out. And out to about the 21-yard line. 21-yard return, hit on the play by Quincy Butler. The quarterback for the Houston Texans is Matt Schaub. He has 7 300 games this season, including last week against Seattle. He's been a terrific player.
Yeah, and expect him to come out aggressive throwing the ball down the field. Remember, they hit on the long ball to Andre Johnson on the first play of the game last week against Seattle.
Chris Brown will be in the backfield, and Andre Johnson now comes in motion out of there from the 21, 1st and 10 for Schaub. Winston providing time at that right tackle. That is caught. Kevin Walter whacked in the play by James Butler. 21-yard pickup, and they'll take the ball to the 42-yard line. Good way to start. Chris Myers has some bruised ribs, but he starts today at that center position. We just saw Andre Johnson out of the backfield. He had 11 receptions and almost 200 yards receiving last week against Seattle. This is the number 8 offense in the NFL, but of the top 8 teams, only the Texans have a losing record this season. Second play of the game, 1st and 10. Again, they sent Johnson out of the backfield. He'll be one of the 3 wide receivers. And that is caught. Walter again. And they work on Quincy Butler. 16-yard pickup down to the 42-yard line of the St. Louis Rams.
So you want to double cover Andre Johnson. Well, Walter will hurt you too, coming in from this side of the field, right over the middle of the field, in double coverage between the underneath linebacker, Paris Leonard, and then just in front of the safety. Laser lock passing from Matt Schaub. We told you he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I think he's proving it on this first possession.
Jacoby Jones has become the extra wide receiver, so they got 4 of them out there. They're in the nickel for the St. Louis Rams, and Quincy Butler, who was just beaten on that last play, is in their 1st and 10. This is Chris Brown. And Duzable, number 69, got him around the ankle, and Brown staggers ahead for a couple yards. James Hall replaces the injured Leonard Little on that defensive line. If there is an equal among rookie linebackers for the Texans, Brian Cushing, it's the Rams' James Laurinaitis, a terrific young player. Justin King replaces Quincy Butler at a starting position, although Butler's in there in the nickel. It's 2nd down and 8, first drive of the game from the 40-yard line. Monte Leach is in the backfield. That's Dreesen on the move to try down. And Arian Foster knocked out of bounds by James Butler, sent across the way to about the 34-yard line. It's a rookie free agent out of Tennessee, just activated off the practice squad a couple weeks ago. It is a gain of 6 on the play.
So after throwing it on their first 2 plays, Gary Kubiak dials up a couple of runs just to keep it balanced. But at the end of the day, he's going to put the game in the hands of his improving and developing quarterback, Matt Schaub. He was so hot last week, threw the ball 28 times, and for 2 touchdowns over 300 yards in the first half alone. So he's capable of putting up numbers very quickly.
Nickel secondary, 3rd down and 2. Foster by himself in the backfield had a good day receiving a week ago with the Winston block, and Myers out there trying to push him along. Looks like he's going to be gang tackled and shy of the first. Picks up a yard to the 33-yard line. Host of guys were down there making the stop, and included there was Paris Leonard, the linebacker. So he picks up 1. It'll be 4th down, and they're going to go for it on 4th down.
I think you got to go for it. I think you're on the road. You said that coming into this game, you wanted to get off to a fast start. If you're Gary Kubiak, you wanted to be able to get it by running the football. I would think on this 4th down play, while most teams would want to run it, they're going to throw the football. They better hurry up because they're running out of time.
4th down and 1. Play clock is at 8. Moats is in the backfield. And he gets the call, an entourage. Brown with the block. Vontae Leach with the block. He's close to a first down, picks up about a yard. He's near the 32, which is where he had to get for the first down.
So they run it now. Look at this. 4 times in a row. Moats just hit it up inside. See, press the line of scrimmage as early as possible. I think they made it just by a nose. Got a generous spot. It's going to be real close.
Adeyanju made the stop, and we've got a player down for the St. Louis Rams. It is Quincy Butler. We have an injury timeout. We have 11:33 to play in the first quarter on the opening drive by the Texans. Defensive back Quincy Butler was the injured player for the Rams. Walked off, although hobbled under his own power, and he see them taking a look with that athletic training staff at his left knee. So the Houston Texans got a first down, and here comes the 7th play in the drive. Big plays already. Walters caught one for 21 and for 16. That's James Casey, one of the 2 tight ends in motion. Fake to Foster. Nice fake it was by Schaub. Vontae Leach drops it on the near side. The coverage by James Butler Solomon at about the 26-yard line.
Whenever they're going to run it 4 consecutive times, that means they're going to go reverse bootleg, get the fullback out in the flat. And Vontae Leach has got to make this catch. Hits him right in the belly. He puts it on the ground. And what that does, it keeps you off schedule as a play caller. Instead of dialing up a play for 2nd and 5, now they're facing 2nd and 10. And, Kubiak, that's what he doesn't like, because he wants to stay on schedule with the play call.
He had a lot of quick counts last week against Seattle, didn't he?
Absolutely. Catching the defense off balance.
Foster in the backfield. You see Jacoby Jones in motion. 2nd down and 10. Winston again with that block at the tackle, and there goes, he fumbles. The rookie fumbles. Foster after he caught it. It's reeled in. Nice play by Darrell Scott. He was sick this week. He missed practice on Thursday. So a fumble by the rookie. Boy, if it's not Slayton fumbling, it's Moats. If it's not Moats fumbling, it's the rookie out of Tennessee, Arian Foster.
It's been the curse of this football team. Turning the ball over. We said it as one of our game points. You turn it over, it is the great equalizer that will allow the Rams to win the ball game.
The Rams, Solomon, have forced 5 turnovers on opponents' opening drives this year as you take a look at the quarterback, Keith Null.
Well, Keith Null's got to come out. He's got to prevent turning the ball over and giving it back to the Houston Texans.
He had 5 interceptions last week, 1st and 10. Steven Jackson, and wrapped up by Mario Williams, a loss of a yard in the play. Nice play by Mario Williams, the former #1 overall pick. So we just saw the quarterback, and here he's got 2 new starting guards, including Greco with his 2nd career start. And we just saw Steven Jackson. Battled the flu all week, sent home on Friday. He doesn't practice anymore because of a bad back. In fact, he hasn't practiced in a month for this team. It'll be 2nd down and 11. Fumble after the Texans and moved the ball so well with a couple of long passes to Walter of 21 and 16 yards. 2nd down 11 from the 7-yard line. Fake by Null. Chased on the play by Antonio Smith. The flag has been thrown. There's a 7-yard pickup by Ravel Martin, the extra Green Bay Packer receiver who was let go. The gain to the 14-yard line.
Offside. Defense number 95. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
Now let's go to the Houston defense. Mario Williams has 3 sacks the last 2 games, and coming off of one of his best games of the season, linebacker Brian Cushing might just be the NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year. And Bernard Pollard has made a difference since being signed as a free agent. He was let go by Kansas City, and he has made a difference, especially in the run game.
Absolutely. Anytime you can improve yourself at the 2nd level of the defense, you're not going to give up those explosive plays, and then you add another willing tackler to the defense.
And it's 2nd down. 6 to go. Jackson, nothing right there. Boy, they just clogged up the middle. Cody was in there among the many who make the stop on a gain of a yard, and they put him at the 13-yard line. There he is, Sean Cody, who is out of USC.
Because of the penalty, now Steve Spagnuolo's offense not facing a tremendous 3rd and long. You like to believe you can put the ball in the hands of the rookie quarterback, Keith Null, and convert a 3rd and 5 opportunity.
No, we talked about the 5 interceptions, but that didn't seem to really rattle him last week.
Well, he kept throwing it. He said he had to fight the need to be timid after throwing interceptions, have to stay aggressive.
3rd and 5. Kenneth Darby in the backfield. He's the nickel back, and they send that out to Martin, who makes a nice catch, and he's brought down from behind by Power to catch and run. Sends him to the 36-yard line, picks up 23 yards on 3rd and 5. That's a first down, and also out there with a nice stop was Bryce McCain.
How is this for staying aggressive? There's the crossing route there with Ravel Martin. And look at this throw. It's an on-the-money throw as 29, Glover Quinn, gives chase. You got to prevent Martin from getting over the middle of the field. Now stay top side instead of looking in the backfield if you're Glover Quinn. But see, he can't keep up with Martin. Not only can Martin make the catch, he can create yards after making the grab.
Robinson is on that defensive line now for Houston. It is a first down for the 36-yard line. No goes outside. Amendola. There's a block by Martin. And the tackle made, as you see, by both Cushing and Powell. It was a gain of 5 on the play and up to the 41-yard line.
Kevin, I got to tell you, last week when you watched the Houston Texans play Seattle, they came out with a certain swagger, with a certain intensity and certain energy that I don't see on this football team today. Coming out on the road against a 1-12 team, and even the Houston Texans, Gary Kubiak as well as Matt Schaub said there's not a huge difference between a 1-12 team and a team with 6 wins, that the margin is very small. 2nd
down and 5. Bowman also on that line. There's a collar tackle of Steven Jackson. It's a gain of about 4, close to a first down, out to the 45-yard line.
Oh, Steven Jackson has to be the bell cow. There's a guy that spent most of his week in bed nursing the flu. Didn't get a chance to practice a whole lot. Remember, they quarantined a lot of the players away from the building, sent everyone home during the middle of the week. And he joined the team yesterday on Saturday, and here he is starting in this game. Don't be surprised if he still challenge this defense for the Houston Texans.
Barwin is also on that defensive line. 3rd down and 1. Jackson in the backfield. And a couple of tight ends out there for St. Louis on their first drive. This is Steven Jackson. He was hit low and brought down. Looked like Cushing got him around the ankles. A gain of about a half yard. They need to get to the 46, and we'll see where they spot the ball. About a yard gain on the play.
It didn't look like he gained much.
I didn't think so either.
This is depending on the spot.
And they're going to get a measurement, I believe. And our referee today is Ed Hockley. And he'll call for the change to go out there. The illness that forced the cancellation of the Rams Thursday practice, how much does that, Solomon, affect the team?
I think it wrecks your ability to prepare. You know, football players and coaches were creatures of habit, and you get into that ritual, and anything that breaks that rhythm and that cycle, I think it's a distraction for your football team. And Coach Spagnuolo, he admitted to that. They're going to be short of the first down. Let's see. I think if you're 1-12, can't you go for it here? I think so. Spags is imploring his team, all right, let's go ahead and go for it, because they need something to infuse themselves with energy. And with so many players having the flu, as you had mentioned, I think they're going to come out, they're going to play well. How will they hold up over the course of a 4-quarter football?
That's a good point. And Thursday usually is the hardest practice day of the week, isn't it?
Yeah. Wednesday and Thursday, and those are the days when they had to send everyone home and clean and sanitize the entire building.
Fullback Carney is back there with Jackson, 4th and inches. After Houston fumbled on their opening drive. No, he's got Jackson. That's a first down. The leading receiver for this team, knocked out of bounds on the near side by Barber. He's down with the catch and run to the 39, picks up 16 yards. So on this drive, they've gotten a catch of 23 yards and one right there to Steven Jackson for 16.
Coming right in your living room, right at you, slipping him out of the backfield. They ran a pick on Bernard Pollard, the safety. He's responsible for the back coming out of the backfield. And they were able to set that pick to free Jackson up, and they pick up the first down. Right now, they appear to be the team playing with a swagger, with a certain amount of energy, and it's totally lacking for the Houston Texans.
Scanina now on that defensive line. 1st down and 10 from the 39. Drive began back at the 8. No, dropping. Oh, there's a fumble, and it was recovered on the play by Mario Williams. Houston's got it. They get it right back after the team that has had more turnovers, this Rams team, aside from 2 others, they're now -10 on the year on the giveaway takeaway, and Jackson fumbling right there.
Okay, Null dropped the ball, but he recovered it and then got it to Jackson, and Jackson didn't secure the handoff, and so they turn it back over to Houston.
Jackson just fumbled. Texans fumbled on their first possession from the 43, 1st and 10. Moats in the backfield. He'll take it over that left side. Brought down to the play by Chris. It is a gain of 2, and he's out to the 45-yard line.
Take another look at the fumble. Keith Null is going to fumble it from the snap from Brown. But I think, he gets the ball out. Now, Jackson's got to take the ball. He starts running away before he secures the ball. And, of course, Null does have to let it go, thinking that Jackson has it. But I don't think Jackson did a really good job of making sure he took the ball from his quarterback and taking it in the belly and securing it as he would need to.
2nd down and 8. Oates remains. Winston steers his guy off at that right tackle. Wide open, Andre Johnson. Bartell in pursuit, out of bounds near the 20. Knock him out at the 17. Big time reception. 38 yards, a first down for the Houston Texans.
And watch the separation. He's covered by Bartell, but watch how he's thrown open. See the ball thrown to the open area of field away from Bartell? And Johnson closes on the ball, as well as any receiver in the National Football League. They're going to have to give Bartell some help. Because if he doesn't, Johnson will put up some huge numbers. Look at what he did last week in the first half. Most receivers will love those numbers in any given game.
Leads the NFL in receiving yards coming into today. First down and 10. Moats remains. With a couple of tight ends, Matt Schaub. Blocked by Dreesen. Schaub on the move and wisely throws it away. So now it'll be 2nd down and 10. So already in this game, Matt Schaub is at completions of 21 and 16 yards to Walter.
Picking up where he left off last week. It was 24-28 in the first half. Over 300 yards passing, red hot. And he'll take care of the ball. And I know Gary Kubiak is saying, hey, if we just secure the ball, he believes his quarterback is fastly becoming one of the better quarterbacks in the National Football League. He said that if Schaub can just stay healthy, he thought that he would put up the kind of numbers that we're seeing so far this season.
He is zeroing in on 4,000 yards for the first time in his career. Moats in the backfield, 5 in the secondary, 2nd down and 10. Moats. And hit across the way at about the 13-yard line. Bartell was among the many. It's a gain of 3. Moats is right there. We'll get back to the turnovers. I mean, running the ball has been the #1 problem for this team. Dead last in the National Football League in terms of rushing.
And earlier in the year when they were running it really well, I think Kubiak puts together an offensive line in that zone blocking scheme that really does a good job of getting the runners to the second level. Well, they fumble. Yeah. Steve Slayton has fumbled. Chris Brown has fumbled at important times in ball games. In that game against Jacksonville, they should have won it.
Brown is back there, 3rd down and 7. Into the nickel once again goes Matt Schaub from the 14-yard line. And Johnson with the catch. Tackle was made on the play by Justin King. It's a gain of 4. They'll spot him at the 11.
Well, they're going to get it over to Johnson, but watch after Johnson makes the catch. Defenders are always going to rake at the ball, but he's a veteran. He knows, hold on to it, secure it with both hands. They can't get the ball out. Now, that's what they need from their running backs when they run the football. But Johnson's so big, so strong, you can't pry the ball out. All you can do is hope to get him on the ground and prevent the first down.
Here's a 27-yard field goal by Chris Brown, and this guy has been a story with his misses. He nails a 3-pointer right there, but this guy has missed some important field goals this year.
He has been, I think, an Achilles heel to the team, preventing them from stepping up and winning big ball games this year.
So the Rams cash in by not allowing the touchdown. They allow just the 3, so their defense holds. 3-zip the Houston Texans.
Yeah, they dodged the bullet. They had turned the ball over. It appeared as the Rams offense was on the move, but then the Rams give it back. Houston turns it into a field goal.
Chris Brown the kickoff, and Danny Amendola, who has picked off the Philadelphia practice squad, will bring it back. They like this young kid, and he is brought down. You see a DB is one of the couple that bring him down after a 25-yard return. So we're going to take a look at Steven Jackson again. He fumbled the last time he had it. 3:24 to play here in the first in St. Louis. Has turned the ball over already in this game. Moments ago, the Texans got a 27-yard field goal from there, Chris Brown. Null so far, 3 of 3, the rookie out of West Texas A&M, which is in Canyon, Texas, on the 27-yard line. Starters in there on the defensive line for Houston. This is the tight end Daniel Fells, upended by Barber. It's a gain of 5. Head over heels to the 32. We're head over heels over James Brown in New York.
Wow, well, Kevin, thank you so very much. And right back at you. Take a look here at Vince Young and the Titans getting it done here. Young, 22-yard pass. Nice touch there to Justin Gage, capping a 10-play, 81-yard drive. 7-3 Tennessee in the first. Back to Kevin and Solomon.
Remember, Young pulled up lane last week in the Tennessee game.
Absolutely, but the Titans are still in the hunt for the playoffs. Take a look at the playoff picture, and of course, Miami is on a wild card bubble that could burst if they lose to the Tennessee Titans.
McCain is the 5th defensive back. 2nd down and 5. There's another fumble, and Null jumps on it. And last week we heard words like composure and confidence and a little bit of swagger, but tonight he is having a hard time this afternoon in St. Louis. A loss of 1 on the play back to the 30-yard line.
They got some problems with their offensive line. Remember Richie Incognito, their guard, headbutts, flags thrown, yanked out of the game, and there's the 2nd personal foul, and so he was pulled out of the game. Steve Spagnuolo was not happy, hurt the football team with all the penalties, and now they had to waive him, and so you've got John Greco, and then, of course, Mark Setterstrom coming in playing both guard positions because Jacob Bell has now been lost for the season, placed on IR.
3rd down, long 6. They go outside. Donnie Aver gets the 1st down right in front of Dante Robinson. 40-yard line, gain of 9. They'll move the chains. You have 2 new starting guards. You're talking about the guts of your offensive line.
In my mind, I think it was the strongest part of their football team. That's the reason why you have Steven Jackson as the league's 2nd leading rusher, because he was running, I thought, behind a formidable offensive line who was at least really good in terms of their run blocking. I know their pass protection has suffered, but now you take both of those guards out. You bring in Setterstrom and Greco, and they're off to a rocky start just trying to hold on to the football.
Null, though, has started 5 of 5. 1st and 10. Here comes the 2nd leading rusher in the National Football League. Dennis Jackson brought down by Ryans. No gain on the play. They stay at the 40 as we take you to New York and James Brown.
Kevin and Solly, take a look at the concentration by the man, maybe with the best hands in the league, Larry Fitzgerald. Oh, look at that fade pattern there. Man, nice set of hands. By the way, pointed out by Eric Mann. 7-0 Arizona over Detroit. Back to Kevin Harlan and Solomon Wilcots.
How about this? We're getting analysis from Eric Mann back in the studio. I like it.
I like it too. That's right.
He can pick them.
2nd down and 10 from the 40. Here they come. The initial hit came from the cornerback and the safety. And Pollard was there. Loss of 5. Back to the 35-yard line. Pollard has been such a terrific present to this defense.
Coming off the left side, and you could see Jackson had to pick either 1 or 2. Was he going to block Cushing or Pollard? So 2 guys coming off the corner. See right there? He's got to take 1. He tries to take the inside guy. Still, they bring more than they can block. And what did D'Amico Ryans tell us? We're going to bring it at the rookie quarterback, and we're going to see if we can get to him. If we can hit him, then pressure leads to picks.
3rd down and 15. Still the nickel for the Houston Texans defensively. Here comes Null. Mario Williams has a beat on him. Incomplete. They probably were looking for Brandon Gibson. And he was covered by some linebackers, and they got to let the ball go back to Houston. They'll have to punt the ball with 35 seconds to play. It's 6 plays punt here in the 1st quarter.
Null is not as nearly as confident as he was earlier in the game last week. And I think because of the bobbled snap, he's already had a couple on their first 2 possessions, and then the relentless pressure provided by the Houston Texans on this possession that we didn't see on that previous one. So now they're deciding to turn up the heat on the rookie quarterback.
Here's Jacoby Jones back to get this punt from Donnie Jones. Heaving it off out of bounds near the 20-yard line. That's where Matt Schaub and that offense will take over. 26 seconds to play here in the 1st quarter. 46-yard punt. And you can take a look now at this AFC playoff picture. By the way, San Diego, Cincinnati play later today on CBS. 1st and 10. With Schaub outside, the twirling Chris Brown. Martell had a beat on him along with Paris Lennon. No gain on the play. 19-yard line is where they will be. What intrigues you most as you'll take a look at these teams and records?
I think that Miami-Tennessee Titans game, I think, is very intriguing. And then what is the Pittsburgh Steelers going to do at 6 and 7? I think the Houston Texans are going to try to win out. Yes, they need some help, but they believe that they're a team that, hey, first of all, they can have a winning season, the first ever in franchise history, but they still got a shot at making the playoffs.
Chris Brown got a 27-yard field goal for the Texans. Each team has fumbled the ball at the end of one. It's Houston. 3-zip. Going to the 2nd quarter, Schaub in the 1st was 6 of 8. His shoulder is still not 100%. He's got a wrap like a wetsuit type of wrap around that left shoulder.
Yeah, we could talk about all the spectacular numbers he's put up. This is probably the most significant thing, his ability to finish every game this year. All 16 games, he was able to get up after dislocating that shoulder 2 weeks ago and still came back and finished the game. Showed his teammates that he's got the toughness to lead the team.
2nd down and 10. Johnson going wide, and then they go to Dreesen inside. Incomplete. Lennon was there, guarded. And there was a flag thrown on the play. That's the guy that's taken the place of the injured Owen Daniels, who was a tough casualty in the middle of the year.
Illegal contact, defense number 53, before the pass was thrown. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot and an automatic first down.
That was Paris Lennon. Is Matt Schaub, in your mind, a top 10 quarterback in this league?
I think he is. I mean, there's no doubt about it. You can look at the numbers. He's embarking upon 4,000 passing yards this season. I think before this game is over, he'll hit that mark. And you saw the pass that he threw to Dreesen. It should have been caught. He puts the ball on the money. I think he's rapidly developed under Gary Kubiak. And what did he tell us? He said it took us about 2 years where we could have that nonverbal communication, what we both know what the other is thinking.
Brown and Leach in the backfield. 1st and 10 from the 25. Fake to one. Here's a block by Leach. The end around Jacoby Jones. Chased by James. Butler out of bounds about the 25-yard line. No gain on the play. He'll stay right there. Some trick. You know, they had no running game, so they got to be a little creative.
Yeah, they'll always do something, start the motion one way, then come back the other way. That's exactly what they do. That's why they want to be able to run the game. And to be honest with you, the play action passing has been missing from this offense because the running game has been lacking. And normally a reverse play like that would work because the defense has to overreact to the run game. And when the run game is struggling, all the misdirectional stuff that Gary Kubiak wants, it's really ineffective.
2nd down and 10. Brown in the backfield, and outside they go. That's caught by Anderson. We talked about him before the game, diving on the near side. King and Bartell were over there. That's a lunge of 9 yards, and he'll be shy of the first down by about a yard. I guess that's, to me, the most impressive thing about Schaub. He's doing all this, all the glittery numbers passing-wise, with no run game, and like you talked about, no play-action capability.
In my mind, that's the sign of a top 10 quarterback. That's when you know you are a franchise player. You say, okay, even without the running game, put it on me, and I'll make enough plays for us to go out and put up huge numbers on offense. And now he's got to prove he can put up the most significant number, and that's wins.
3rd and 1. Schaub will take it himself. Bad shoulder and all. That's what he sticks into that line, is that left shoulder, and he's up to the 35. Looks like he's got the first down. How you like that, James? Exactly. Thank you so much. You and I did that game when he had that 98-yard returner against the Pittsburgh Steelers. 1st and 10 for Schaub. Winding up and looking downfield and missing Kevin Walter, who was covered on the play by James Quincy down there. Also, they had King. And so it'll be 2nd down and 10.
How about James Hall? Pick number 96. Take a look at him on the left side of your screen. That's a defensive end. That's who that is. That's James Hall. Great coverage, forcing the overthrow just beyond Dave Anderson. That big guy can turn and run. Good hips, turn and run, get underneath the wide receiver and force the overthrow.
Extra defensive backs in there now with Danny Gore. They're coming in as the 6th defensive back. 2nd down and 10. And this is a run by Brown. Nothing there. Duzable coming through, stopping him in his tracks. No gain, 34 to New York and James Brown. Sanchez and Edwards, we're going to hear that for a long time in New York.
We entered the week with 4, 7, and 6 teams in the AFC. In Jacksonville and Baltimore, those teams are all going to battle it out, including the Miami Dolphins.
3rd down and 10. There's a flag. He was being pressured on the play by Hall and by Chris Long. He throws it away on the near side. There was a receiver, probably not within 10 yards, but he was outside, and he throws it. And there's a look at Steve
Holding
Spagnuolo.
Offense, number 76. The penalty is declined. Brings up 4th down.
Dwayne Brown playing with the bad knee. 7 plays punt for Houston.
Yeah, Dwayne Brown gets the holding. Of course, the pass rush was relentless. You cannot underestimate Steve Spagnuolo's ability to put together a scheme to slow down your offense. I think that's what's going to make it an interesting game, and that's why the Houston Texans have to play a clean ball game and not turn the ball over.
Matt Turk, who played for the Rams back in 06, will let this baby fly, and deep back Amendola back at about the 15-yard line. Gets off a beauty with the good hang time. Amendola back at the 16-yard line. And weaves his way, and looks like Glenn Martinez will bring him down. Hang time of 4-7. Anything 4-5 and above is good. 12-yard return, 49-yard punt. Early in the second, we're going to take a look at that Rams offense again. 1st down and 10 after the punt by the Houston Texans. Jackson in the backfield, and he gets the call. Looks like Zach Dials got him from behind and brings him down near the 28. and picks up a yard on the play. And of course, to happen in mid-season like this, you can only imagine what his team, the Bengals, are going through right now with a very important game on the West Coast against San Diego.
Well, they're hurting, and there's no doubt about it. They've lost a family member and player like Chris Henry. I give a lot of credit to Mike Brown, the Cincinnati Bengals owner and general manager, who accepted Chris back when most people didn't want him to do, because he saw something in Chris that was worth salvaging. And that's why this team is really saddened. And Carson Palmer and so many other guys really invested a lot into it.
Well said. Starting defensive line out there. Here's a 2nd down and 9. Going deep for Avery, in the coverage by the very fleet-footed Dante Robinson of the Houston Texans. It is 3rd down and 9.
We said that Donnie Avery needed to be the go-to guy for Keith Null. And take a look. The protection holds up. He steps up and throws. It's just going to be outside the reach of Donnie Avery. I thought Avery was getting some separation on Dante Robinson. Look, there's a separation. Now you got to be able to make that play. But remember, he's playing with the 3rd-string quarterback in Keith Null. Very difficult for Avery to get on the same page with now the 3rd quarterback playing for the Rams this season.
Sam Congano is in the backfield, the ex-Texan, along with Darby. 3rd down and 9. Good time for Null. Darby out of Alabama still finds his way close to a 1st down. Let's see if he got it. He was forced on the near side by Cushing, among others. And they also had over there in coverage Barber. He's got 8 or 9 yards, just depending on the spot, very close to a 1st down.
Let's take a look and a listen.
They give him, it's a gain of 9, so they give him the 1st down, so they move the ball to the 37-yard line. We're talking about Avery. Avery grew up idolizing Andre Johnson. He went to the University of Houston. He was a 2nd-round pick by this St. Louis team, and he said when he met him, he was just in awe.
Yeah, he'd say he met him, and he was surprised at how humble Andre Johnson was. And I said, that's
Houston
something
is challenging the ruling on the field that it was a 1st down.
Excuse me, that's something that all of us are surprised with when we have a chance to meet with Andre Johnson. But Andre's been able to be a leader in the life of Donnie Avery.
We got a challenge here in St. Louis.
The angle that shows from the press box side shows space between the foot and the out of bounds. Therefore, the ruling in the field stands as called. It is a 1st down. Houston is charged with their 1st timeout.
I don't know about that call. We saw something different up here.
Well, they're going to say that he did not step out of bounds right about the 35-yard line. See right there, they're saying that they saw something here that says that foot was not in bounds, or that it was in bounds, excuse me, and they needed to get to about the 37-yard line to create a 1st down. So we thought that foot was out of bounds. They're saying that it wasn't.
I'm sticking with you, and I think he was out of bounds.
It looked like he touched the white to me.
Jackson back in, 1st down and 10. Uvell Martin is in motion. There's a flag. And quick pursuit brought down by Antonio Smith. Loss of 2 on the play back to the 35-yard line. How can Jackson play on Sunday?
Offside defense, number 94, 5-yard penalty. Repeat 1st down.
Antonio Smith. How can Jackson not practice for a month and have the timing necessary at that running back position to execute it all on Sunday?
With running backs, remember, they take a lot of punishment during the week, and so many of them are allowed to rest around the National Football League, particularly when you get to this time of the season. In December, you say, hey, just rest. Just bring us your energy and have a burst. I think that's the most important thing for running backs, particularly so late in the season. They have to have a healthy body in order to play.
Robinson and Barwin on the defensive line, 1st and 5. Good block by Goldberg. And there goes Jackson. He's in the dials. Hit by Cushing. And you see the avalanche of Texan defenders and a loss of 2 back to the 39. Our personal avalanche is James Brown in New York.
Oh, they would say I'm heavy enough to do that too, Kevin. Take a look here. Tom Brady trying to get Randy Moss involved early. Hooking up here with that 13-yard strike for a score. 10th receiving touchdown of the season for Moss. 9th year with 10 or more. Tying a Hall of Famer Jerry Rice. Brady, 2 of 5, both completions to Moss, Kevin, and Solomon.
Look at the East. Thank you, James. 2nd down and 7 to go. Jackson stays an extra defensive back. McCain is back there for Houston. Right through Avery. Ricocheted off his helmet, and McCain almost picked it off. It's their best receiver right now in a very depleted.
Offside defense, number 56. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
That's the 1st-round pick out of USC, Brian Cushing, who was offside. So we've had a couple of defensive penalties against the Texans on this particular drive.
Yeah, you had a number guy. The pressure was on Null so quickly See, they came in and see the pressure, but look at the accurate throw. Now you just got to catch it. They tell you to look the ball in. You got to look it into your hands, not into the face mask. That ball was thrown very hard by Null, but he was forced to because the pressure was right on top of him.
2nd down and 2. Total yard story right there. From the 45. Jackson. He gets by Pollard, and there he goes. Right down the side and banged by Barber near the 20-yard line. This is one of the great stories on this team. On a team that is so horrible record-wise, they're 1-12. He just thrives.
You have to be the contain guy. See, Pollard's got to get out there, and he's got to get out there early. If you don't contain the ball against Steven Jackson, if he gets to the corner, he's going to burn you down the sideline. And you ask, why does he have to practice? Look at that. Now, who needs practice? And I don't want to quote Allen Iverson.
Sure,
but,
I got you.
You know, the practice doesn't matter if you're Steven Jackson. You want him healthy in ball games, and he's proven that he can break one off for his head coach, Steve Spagnuolo.
He is a beast. 35-yard gain, 5 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. He's out of the game right now. Sam Gatto, the ex-Packer and Texan back there on 1st and 10, and they blow that baby dead. And he's
delay of game offense. 5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
And Jackson has carried the ball so much over his career. As you see the Sprint halftime report with JB and company, scores, news, and highlights. That comes from our CBS studios in New York. The Sprint halftime report. I mean, he's carried the ball a ton for this team.
Oh, heavy workload. He's caught the ball almost 50 times so far this year. So his number of touches, I think, are the most in the National Football League for any running back. Well over 300 coming into today's ball game.
Jackson is out 1st and 15. And Sam Gatto is nailed by a couple, including Antonio Smith. It's a gain of 1 down to the 24-yard line. You look for glimmers of hope in players like Jackson. Hopefully, one time he was the young guy in a pretty good team. Now he's the old guy in a bad team.
Yeah, Spagnuolo said it that when 6 years ago when he came to the St. Louis Rams, they were a winning team with a lot of talent around them, and now they're a team that's struggling, and there's not a whole lot of talent. In fact, when he got here, they were winning, and now they're struggling to try to win ball games. But he has provided the kind of leadership that his head coach Steve Spagnuolo can build around.
2 tight ends, 2nd and 14, 7th play of the drive. It began back at the 27-yard line. Null right on the money. Avery makes the grab, 14-yard line. Dante Robinson was there along with Barber. 10-yard pickup.
Well, Donnie Avery nearly dropped this ball. This is an excellently thrown ball by Keith Null. Watch it. Quick up on it. See, he almost dropped it. And if you're the Texans, you're probably thinking that you should challenge it, because I think the ball did hit the ground. It went right through his arms, and I think that ball touched the ground before he was able to secure it.
3rd down and 4. And the 3rd down conversion numbers on this team, were they right? Not bad. 5 in the secondary. McCain is in there for the Houston Texans, the rookie out of Utah. No. He's got his receiver. That's Avery, who is working on Dante Robinson, and the catch made out of bounds. So now it'll go to 4th and 4, and they're going to try for 3. Good coverage by Robinson.
When you have to cancel practice during the week, and when you have very few snaps during the season, see, they're inches away from making a play, but those inches count, and it comes from hours of working together between quarterback and wide receiver before you can master that craft. And you can tell a rookie quarterback working with Donnie Avery, they're not quite in sync to be able to make those plays consistent.
Some pretty big plays on this drive, highlighted by the 35-yard run by Jackson. They got the 10-yard pass to Avery. Here's a 33-yard field goal try by Brown, and he bangs it in. Shutout is gone. Jackson helps him that way with 3 here in the 2nd. If you're Houston, you don't want to be messing around with the 1-12 team. You're involved in the playoff race. I mean, like you said to begin our show, you want to land the early knockout blow, which they have not done yet.
They have not been able to finish drives. They've turned it over, and then they had to settle for a field goal. And then defensively, not able to get off the field on 3rd down, I think has given this St. Louis Rams football team some life. Gary Kubiak wants his team to come out and get to a much faster start than what we've seen.
They look flat.
Yeah, they do look flat and lacking intensity.
And this is Andre Davis. Blocked from Leach and then brought down on the play by Larry Grant, reserve linebacker. 23-yard return. Here comes Matt Schaub. They got 7:20 to play in the half. Steven Jackson with that 35-yard run sets up the field goal for St. Louis.
Oh, here's a guy that's putting in work every single Sunday, getting up off the sick bed, still coming out and providing production.
Moats in the backfield, 1st and 10 from the 22-yard line. Fake to Moats. Nice deceptive fake by Schaub. Going deep. Oh, he's got Andre Johnson. He's gotten back for Butler, and he makes the catch. A flag is down. The gain right now to the 28. He beat James Butler.
How's that for intensity?
How about that? Right, 49-yard pickup. They're going to mark him at the 29. They have picked up the flag. They dropped it. They picked it back up, and here we go.
Well, we said they needed to come out and land an early knockout blow. Play action. You have to respect the running game. Bootleg, throw back across the middle of the field. He get beyond the safety, Butler, and that's why you can do it. It's the play fake that lures the safety up toward the line of scrimmage, allowing Johnson to get deep.
Here's Moats on 1st and 10. Got by Hall. He's chased by Laurinaitis. Looks like he's got the first down as he works on the sideline with a nice move. Goes Ryan Moats. Sets a pickup of 12 on the play. We're going to spot him, Solomon, at the 16-yard line. Andre Johnson. I mean, it just seems like when you think you've seen the best, he pulls off another great play.
We told you that he's a double coverage beater. He can get on top of both defenders and still give Schaub a choice to be able to complete the pass, throwing it over the top. Had he underthrown it, would not have been completed. You got to stretch the field with Andre Johnson. He has the speed to do so.
Moats remains. 1st and 10 from the 16. Ryan Moats, good block by Brown, the left tackle. That opens the door and down to the 5 and brought down by the safety Dahl. 11-yard pickup after a gain moments ago of 12.
Know that one cut downhill running style. This is the stretch run play. See, he'll come here, he'll find the hole, and then watch him cut it back up. See, it comes out the back door. There's that hole right there. And so he stuck that foot in the ground, pressed the line of scrimmage. This is exactly what Alex Gibbs, yes, the offensive line coach in Houston, actually coaches the running backs to run in tandem to what they're doing up front on the offensive line.
Moats, a former Eagle, former WAC Player of the Year. 1st and goal at the 5. Moats, Brown will lead the way. Cutting in, got a block from Anderson, then brought down by Butler. That's James Butler. It's a loss of 2. They'll drop him back to the 7-yard line.
Now, this is where the Houston Texans have to be able to pay it off. Remember, over the last 2 years, 12 red zone turnovers, tied for most in the National Football League. So they've got to be able to convert. You see the 150 passing yards, 188 total yards of offense. Well, it has to translate into points. They've already, I think, squandered some opportunities early on. Gary Kubiak wants to see his offense put this ball into the end zone. 2nd and goal at the 7. Jones, bottom of your screen, 5 in the secondary for the Rams. Oh, he threaded the ball. It was dropped. It was thrown in back of Andre Johnson. Butler was on him. That's an incomplete pass. You take a look at Schaub. Boy, the number of options you have, Solomon, the closer you get into the goal line really shrinks, doesn't it? Watch this. See the number of defenders in that area?
Yes.
He had to throw it behind him because it would have been picked off. See, right there by number 53. Had you thrown it any further inside, then I think Paris Lennon would have been able to pick it off.
3rd and goal at the 7. Gore becomes the extra defensive back. See the allotment of receivers, and Schaub's going to burn a timeout. That'll be the first. They lost a challenge, so now they're left with 1 timeout remaining, and our clock at 4:29 in the 2nd. Texans get into their plays a lot of different ways, don't they?
Yeah, I think they have to be able to get the ball in the hands of Andre Johnson. You saw him try to get it to him on that last play. I think you're going to probably see them motion him and try to screen and pick, maybe to free him up in the end zone. We told you that they'll line him up in a number of different positions to try to get him open. I think we'll probably see some motion, maybe some kind of screen and rub off of the defender to free him up. He's going to line up to that 3 wide receiver side. Whenever you get in this bunch formation, that's when they want to set a pick or a screen to free him up in the end zone.
They got the best blocker back there, running back Chris Brown. Extra defensive backs. 3rd and goal at the 7. They'll try to swing it inside. Dropped. Dreesen.
Wow.
Bartel was among the many that were congesting that middle. Also Justin King So they have to settle for 3. The defense of the Rams hold them out again.
This is the second drop for Dreesen. They use Andre Johnson as the decoy to get you open, and you put it on the ground. The ball hit him right in the chest. You say, well, you should have caught it. No, he should have caught it with his hands as opposed to allowing the ball to get into his body. Boy, does this team miss Owen Daniels.
Chris Brown and Slayton, who was a pretty good receiver inside the red zone. 25-yard try. 6-3. The Houston Texans. They're coming off their most complete game last week against a Seattle ball club, and today they are kind of staggering against the 1-12 St. Louis Rams. CBS Sports jumps into the bowl season on December 31st. Oklahoma will take on Stanford in the Brute Sun Bowl. Then on New Year's Day, West Virginia will battle Florida State in the Conaca Minolta Gator Bowl. On CBS. Well, they had it first and goal at the 5. They can only come up with 3. But they're on top. 6-3 is Kyle Shanahan, the offensive coordinator, along with Kubiak. Take a look at the plays.
And, you know, without Steve Slayton, who had been inactive for a few games, Andre Johnson, 12 red zone receptions, second most in the National Football League. So you expect him to go to Andre Johnson. He's very upset that the ball didn't go to him, because if you're going to create an opportunity to get the ball to Dreesen, he's got to be able to make that catch. I like what Johnson did. He made a declaration a few weeks ago. He said he was going to play these last 5 games like they were the final 5 games of his career. And boy, did he step it up over these last few weeks. He's put up huge numbers. We talk about the monster game he had last week. He knows that, hey, you got to give me an opportunity to make a play in that situation.
Amendola is deep back for the St. Louis Rams. Brown set to kick off for the Texans after his field goal at 25 yards. Danny Amendola from Texas Tech. Gets by Brown, chased by Reeves. All the way. There's a flag. May have gotten him around the face mask. Yep. 55-yard return. These are terrific special teams for the St. Louis Rams. A good return game, which was a concern of the Texans when we talked to them yesterday.
Gary Kubiak was, quite frankly, he said it's the thing that concerned him the most about the St. Louis Rams team, their ability in the return game to make big plays. You just saw Danny Amendola doing just that.
When we talk about this St. Louis team, you clump them with Kansas City and Cleveland and Oakland among the worst. They've lost 11 consecutive home games. As we said at the top of the show, they share the worst record in the NFL with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So where do you find your motivation in a season wrapped up with huge disappointment?
It's called job security. Yeah. You know what? And it's also called pride. It's the ability to say, this is my work as an individual and as a team, and this is the kind of tape that gets around to other coaches when they're looking to improve a team and they want to find players. They're going to put the tape on. And as coaches always tell players, the tape is your resume. Don't tell me what you can do. Show me.
Personal foul, face mask by the kicking team. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. First down.
And it was already a 55-yard return.
And there's good, the face mask right there. You can see it. Both guys are grabbing face masks, aren't they? That's Jacques Reeves with Danny Amendola. You could have called either guy on that. I know if I was the defender and the offensive guy tried to stiff arm me and grab my face mask, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to grab his.
Exactly. Well, there's got to be a subsequent penalty, because a lot of times you see the offensive guy, when he does deliver the stiff arm, grab that man.
Speaking of stiff arms, this guy's got a wicked stiff arm.
Strong
Steven Jackson.
On the 25-yard line, 1st and 10. Jackson is back in the nickel secondary for the Texans. This is Jackson's got a 35-yard run. Look at him fly downfield. Cushing makes the stop along with Dials. That's a 12-yard romp, a first down to the 13-yard line.
Kevin, take a look at some great players stuck on bad teams in their first 6 seasons in the National Football League. Archie Manning won only 17 of 73 games in New Orleans his first 6 years. Walter Payton, 1 game below 500 in his 6 seasons. And then Barry Sanders, first 6 years in Detroit, 1 game above the 500 mark. Steven Jackson has won only 27 of his 82 career games during his 6 years here with the St. Louis Rams.
4 in the secondary, 1st down and 10. Jackson back by Smith. He dances around. Finally, Mario Williams will bring him down at about the 9-yard line on a gain of 4.
Like Archie Manning and Walter Payton and Barry Sanders, I think Steven Jackson has really only came out and worked very hard just to play hard and has never complained. And never knew how really great players, talented players like the ones we just saw, including Steven Jackson, has been able to endure so many losses and still remain positive and still remain a productive competitor on the field.
2nd down and long, 6. Greco with the block at the guard. Pedaling catch, as you can see, at the 5-yard line. Robinson was down there. The 5-yard gain was made by receiver Donnie Avery. Spot him at about the 4. Barber was there.
Watch Null. He can get it out. Ouch.
Null is interesting kid. He went to a Division II school, West Texas A&M. He's from Lampasas, Texas, which is north, of course, of Austin. West Texas A&M is in Canyon, Texas. He set 22 school and Lone Star Conference records, making his 2nd career start today, 3rd and 1. Carney, the fullback, is in. Here comes Jackson. Right down by Cody. Gain of 2. He's got the 1st down. So move the change. They're going to have 1st and goal to go. We're approaching the 2-minute warning here in the 1st half from the Dome in St. Louis.
And we saw the Houston Texans couldn't get it into the end zone. Now Steve Spagnuolo's group threatening and knocking on the door, trying to put a touchdown on the board.
1st and goal. The Rams, the worst goal-to-goal team in the National Football League.
Yeah, but you got to give it to Steven Jackson. More importantly, you got to block up front on the offensive line.
They got tackle eligibles. They got a couple tight ends. Jackson 1st and goal at the 2. That pass. Amendola was out there, and Robinson was covering. It'll be 2nd down and goal. Robinson was right there.
Very dangerous proposition, throwing the ball out on the perimeter, particularly against Dante Robinson, one of the better coverage guys for the Houston Texans. He was right in the hip pocket of Danny Amendola. And how many throws are you going to allow Null to take in this game? We said that 43 last week was way too much, contributed to 5 picks. You can ill afford an interception this area of the football field.
Fullback Carney's in there, 2nd and goal. Carney with the block. Jackson keeps trugging away, and there's Zach Dials out of Kansas State making the play. No gain. Now it is 3rd down and goal. And one of the things I'm sure which has helped Null this week, which he didn't have the benefit of last week when he started against Tennessee and Nashville, is that he's gotten snaps all week long with the #1 offense.
Yeah, he did get a lot of snaps, but remember, they had a lot of guys out with the flu. I think it was a disjointed, irregular week of practice when they had to send everyone home during the middle of the week. And so he's trying to do all the best that he can. I think down here inside of the red zone, you've got to be very creative with how you're going to free up receivers. I know you have to set some picks, some screens, some misdirection stuff to get the defense out of its alignment to get guys open.
Coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher with the latest news, NFL scores, and highlights from our CBS studios in New York. It's the Sprint Halftime Report coming up next as they continue to bring players in and out. We talked about this at the top of the broadcast. 2 brand new young guards playing there today. They're 2 starters from last week, and the season gone.
Yeah, Mark Severstone and John Greco replacing Richie Incognito. Waived early this week. Jacob Bale placed on injured reserve.
3rd and goal at the 2. Ed Hockley runs in from the side, and
A timeout. The defense has the opportunity to match up.
coming out of timeout, the defense has, with Steve Spagnuolo said, what are you talking? I'm a defensive guy. I don't get a chance to match up.
Didn't we just come out of commercial break? I think everyone had enough time.
Well, he didn't like it. You see Jackson, you see the triplets on the top of your screen. 3rd and goal. Goldberg with the block. That's a touchdown. It's caught by Danny Amendola. That's his first touchdown reception with this St. Louis team. A 2-yard throw. The first touchdown pass by the quarterback. No, how about this?
They use the bunch formation over to the right side. That's how they're able. See, they're right here. And see, and that's when they're going to be able to just have some misdirection. He starts out, comes back in underneath. We call it a smash route. But that's the ability to kind of trick the defense and get them out of position to create a small window for Null to complete that pass.
Amendola was on the Dallas practice squad last year, then went to Philadelphia's practice squad late last season. That's where this team, St. Louis Ball Club, picked him up back in week 3. First NFL touchdown. Tomorrow on CSI Miami. reality show takes a deadly turn. David Caruso will star in CSI Miami. That's tomorrow. And it's only on CBS. So let's go back to Amendola, who had the touchdown reception right there, but go back further. He had the 55-yard kickoff return, and Danny sets him up. That he authored that particular series for the Rams.
Remember at the top we said the go-to guy needed to be Donnie Avery. Well, Danny Amendola says, how about me? He became the go-to guy for Keith Null in the passing game. Yeah, we've gotten a lot of Steven Jackson. Sooner or later, you need a wide receiver to make a play in the passing game out on the perimeter. Well, Amendola does both. Makes a play on special teams in the return game and then out on the perimeter catching the touchdown pass from Keith Null.
He's a Houston kid. He's from the Woodlands. He went to Woodlands High School, went to Texas Tech where he was terrific. In fact, his senior year, he was the 4th-rated wide receiver in college football, 103 receptions with the Red Raiders. So a Houston kid going back at a team that he admired while growing up. Not very long, mind you, but nonetheless, that was his hometown team. And the ensuing kickoff. This is going to go out of bounds. Nope, it's going to stay in and out of bounds at the 8-yard line. They get it off to Davis, who looks for a block from Russell, who is being chased and crushed away and knocked out of bounds by Danny Gore. 18-yard return. All right, thought the NFL fantasy season was over. It's not. Sign up for NFL.com's playoff challenge today. Only at NFL.com/fantasy. Well, Solomon, Houston is out of timeouts. The clock is at 1:39. You're at the 27. Let's talk about the options for the quarterback, Matt Schaub.
Well, I expect him to pick up the pace and real quick, timely passing, getting the ball out, running back up to the line of scrimmage, going with their no-huddle offense. 5
defensive backs, 1st and 10. Brown was in the backfield. He throws it away as he was whacked at. It's incomplete. Boy, he was really crowded. He had Duzable up there. He had Chris Long up there for the St. Louis Rams off that line, and James Hall. They were really in his grill.
Yeah, more than anything, he needs protection and time to get the ball out. He did have a receiver that came open late, but he was being hit as he went to get rid of the football.
We have had a trouble with our game clock here, so our game clock is actually being put in from our New York studios. 1:34 to play. No timeouts for Houston. 2nd down and 10. Brown remained in the backfield. That's low. It's scooped in by Anderson, who's become a terrific slot receiver. It's a gain of 5. Bartell was over there along with Justin King. Will spot the ball at the 32.
Got to move quicker than this.
Bartell with the stop for the Rams.
So it's 3rd down and 5 from the 32-yard line. Clock at 1:12, 1:11, 1:10. It is ticking. Brown with a block at that left tackle. Jacoby Jones is brought down by Dull. It's a gain of 9. He's up to the 40-yard line. And he was also hit on the play by Laurinaitis.
How close do you need to get it to feel good about Chris Brown, who's been shaky?
Exactly.
And that's being nice.
He has kicked 2 field goals today from 27 and 25. His 1st and 10. And great catch made, thrown back of Andre Johnson. And he was brought down on the play after a 19-yard pickup by James Quincy. Marked the ball at the 40. They continue to move.
Yeah, you knew just somehow, some way, as they spiked the ball to stop the clock, that Andre Johnson was going to find a way to make a play down the field. And with all eyes, even Laurinaitis dropping and turning in that direction, they're still able to get Johnson open in between 4 defenders, and watches the Rams come in. It's too late because he's already grabbed the ball as they have crossed midfield.
Johnson's had catches today of 38, 49, and 19 yards. No wonder he's the #1 yardage receiver in the National Football League. Over 100 once again. He should lead the league for a 2nd consecutive year. That hasn't happened since Jerry Rice in 94 and 95. 2nd down and 10. Jacoby Jones from behind, brought down by Craig Dahl. That's a gain of 6. Atagwe is out, and so Dahl's taking his place. 6-yard pickup. Marked the ball at the 34.
Good tackle by Dahl, not allowing Jacoby Jones to get out of bounds to stop the clock.
10 seconds. Clock is ticking left in the 2nd quarter. He throws it away. Clock is down to 5. And let's see if they can get one more play off. Nope, they're going to try the field goal. So the big play was the 19-yard completion to Andre Johnson. And here comes Chris Brown, an original Texan. He and Chester Pitts.
Now this would be a huge kick. And remember,
in a couple different ways.
well, just for his confidence and for the football team.
Yep.
Let's face it, he's missed on some big ones. Now it's time to pay off. They do have a new holder, or new snapper, I should say, for him.
They do. Brian Pittman is back, and he does not get it hit the upright. What a nightmare of a season for Chris Brown. They had him in field goal range with the quarterbacking of Schaub. They could not cash in. And this score will surprise people from coast to coast. 1-12 St. Louis on top of the Texans. 10-6 at halftime. Rookie Keith Null, touchdown pass for the St. Louis Rams on top of the Texans by 4. Reminder, this game today brought to you in high definition here on CBS. We're back inside the dome. What is your read so far on the Texans?
For Houston, this campaign lacks shock and awe. I mean, they've come out, and I think it's been very monotone. They've been a little bit lethargic, to tell you the truth. Not a team seeking a playoff opportunity. Yeah, Matt Schaub, I think, has come out throwing the ball very well, getting the ball over to Andre Johnson, over 100 yards receiving in the first half for the second straight week, but they have not turned those possessions into a lot of points. Null, on the other hand, the rookie quarterback for St. Louis, he's done a good job of leading his team down the field, has gotten them into the end zone. That's why they have a first half lead, and shockingly so, the Rams are leading in this game because the numbers are about even. Yeah, total yards, the Houston Texans over 200 yards, but the turnovers, I think, have cost them. The red zone possessions have led to few points. A missed field goal just before halftime by Chris Brown, and it's same old for the Houston Texans. They got to be much better in the second half. Matt Schaub's got to heat it up, and the defense has got to go on the attack, getting the ball back for their offense.
And we told you at the top of the show, mathematically this Houston team is there, but they've got to win out. They need a lot of help and some losses from some other teams. So here we go, the kickoff to start our second half. Amendola had a 55-yard return the last time. Runs into a pile and is as far as about the 24-yard line, and Vontae Leach was there to bring him down. 25-yard return. Here comes Steven Jackson, and here comes the quarterback Keith Null, who is 10 of 14 in the first half. 83 yards, hitting 6 different receivers for the Rams.
How about that? And we said off the top that we thought last week he was very poised and very calm. He had really, I think, a good accuracy in terms of his ability to throw the football. But as the numbers start to creep, around 43 pass attempts last week, that's when you saw him fall apart, throwing those 5 interceptions.
That's that starting defensive line of the Texans from the 24, first down and 10. And Jackson stuffed, taken down. There's Antonio Smith again there, making a stop. The other thing, too, playoffs aside for the Houston Texans, just a winning record, which they've never had. That is about as big as anything they can go for now with a 6-7 record.
Well, I think that's what you got to do. You got to try to win out. You get to 9-7, and maybe you get help from some teams, and maybe you don't. But Gary Kubiak, if he can win these final 3 games, that means they will have won 4 in a row to close out the season. They finished with that first winning season in franchise history, and that's something you can hang your hat on.
And in second down and 10, little screen pass out there. Greco and Jason Brown, and Dante Robinson makes the stop on Steven Jackson, limiting him to a gain of 2. He's just out to the 26-yard line for the Rams.
Watch how many guys come darting in white jerseys. Once they clear that first wave and get the ball over to Jackson, you think he's going to be able to break a big one. Pollard whiffed. So many of the other defenders, they get it over to him, but good tackle on the back end by Dante Robinson.
We're calling out some offensive linemen for the Rams. This is the 5th different starting line they've had to come up with this season.
A lot of different combinations. Surprisingly, though, they're still leading on the scoreboard.
And they stopped that timeout. Houston, they did not have enough defensive backs. They were short of defensive backs with the myriad of receivers out there for the Rams. 13:42 to play in the 3rd. We got a 3rd and 8 coming up here for the Rams. The Houston Texans just had to call a timeout defensively.
Yeah, because they didn't have the numbers on the field. It could have given up a big play.
Darby and Gatto in the backfield. Oh, that was batted down. Great defensive play. Coming through was Connor Barwin, the 2nd-round pick, the rookie out of Cincinnati. They got to punt the ball.
They come off the left side of the offensive line. Watch the big hand go up. There you see it right there. Connor Barwin making plays. They've got a couple of rookies on this defense, along with Barwin and Brian Cushing. who have been tremendous contributors on the defensive side of the ball for Houston.
Donnie Jones, who last year averaged 50 yards a punt, this year averaging 46.6 gross. After this 3 and out, boy, there was a lot of pressure put on him too. Horrible hang time out of bounds. It's going to give the Houston Texans some decent beginning field position. So let's see what Matt Schaub has up his sleeve. 13-31 here in the third. The Rams have a rookie leading them in tackles on defense.
Oh, no doubt. James Laurinaitis, I think he's been a tremendous addition from day one, calling out all the signals, getting everyone lined up, and, boy, making a lot of plays on this defense.
Out in the secondary, you see the myriad of receivers. Brown is in the backfield. First down and 10 after the 3 and out by the St. Louis Rams. This is caught by Brown and hit on the play by Laurinaitis after a gain of 4. He's up to the 34-yard line. This kid captured every significant defensive trophy, Butkus, Nagurski, and Lott.
Look at it. He and his dad, Joe Laurinaitis. He was with the Road Warrior. His nickname was Animal, one of the highest-selling tag team wrestling act. And how about this? Just like any kid, he once asked his dad, "Dad, is that fake?" He said, "James, it's staged, but it's not fake."
Second down and 6, and they go to the side. That's caught by Johnson. Hit by Bartell, close to a first down, and a pickup of about 9 on the play. So Laurinaitis is one of these, you know, great. They got Cushing in Houston. There's Clay Matthews up in Green Bay. They got Curry up in Seattle. Arakpo, of course, in Washington. Malauga in Cincinnati. I mean, what a great influx of young, talented linebackers.
Tremendous draft class in the linebacker area. And I was with these guys at the scouting combine. And Laurinaitis and Cushing, they're very good friends. They spent their entire time going through the workouts in Indianapolis at the scouting combine and have remained in touch ever since.
Third one, I don't think he got it. That was the quarterback keeper by the 6'4" Matt Schaub. He did not get it. How about that on 3rd and 1, trying to recapture some momentum.
He turned it over, and Laurinaitis was saying that he had fumbled it. He was saying that it was the St. Louis Rams ball, and
Craig
Dahl comes up with it. And turnovers are always the great equalizer. If you come in thinking you're the better football team, you turn it over to a team that's 1-12. And if you want to figure out a way to lose it, this is how you get that done.
That's only his 2nd fumble of the season, but look where it is, deep in Texan territory. Second turnover for the Houston Texans, both in their own zone. So look at here at the 40-yard line. Rams have it with the lead. Early in this second half, first down and 10. Jackson is in the backfield. Steven Jackson, huge hold. There was a great block by the wide receiver, Brandon Gibson, chased out of bounds by Pollard. That is a 9-yard run to the 31-yard line, and a terrific block inside. So Null is this rookie out of a small little school, Division II, West Texas A&M.
Yeah, and some notable guys that have gone to West Texas A&M includes some former wrestlers themselves. And so he's a guy that certainly is trying to make some plays, trying to lead them to a win today.
Second down and 1 after the Houston fumble to the 31-yard line of the Texans. At the 4 in the secondary goes Houston. Scanina is in on the defensive line. There is a whiff by Mario Williams. Look at that great first down run. A hard one by Jackson. Gain of 6 down to the 25. D'Amico Ryans makes the stop. Here's some of those wrestlers and famous people you were talking about from West Texas A&M.
How about Dirty Dusty Rhodes? He's a former wrestler.
The Common Man.
And Funk. And how about Eugene Mercury Morris and Maurice Cheeks? Also went to West Texas A&M, and French Stewart, your good friend.
My good friend.
Oh, you're not claiming Frenchie?
No way. Here's a first and 10 with the pressure on. Now throws it up for grabs. A typical rookie mistake, and picked off nicely on the play. Why would you throw that? His first pick, and it was intercepted on the play by Dominique Barber.
Under pressure, just throwing the ball up for grabs, and the good friend of James Laurinaitis, who grew up with him in Minnesota. They've been friends since they were 5 years old. Dominique Barber comes up with the pick. Craig Null making a huge mistake.
Barber just had his first career interception for the Houston Texans. He was a high school teammate in Wayzata, Minnesota with James Laurinaitis.
Absolutely. The younger brother of Marion Barber, who played so well in that game last night for the Dallas Cowboys. But Laurinaitis said that he picked up Barber at his hotel yesterday. They hung out a little bit last night.
We have a new left tackle. Rashad Butler is in, perhaps for the ineffective Dwayne Brown. This is Moats following the Leach block. Brought down by Long with one hand. Hall got there too. Gain of 2 up to the 17. So that's big news. Rashad Butler is taking the place of the left tackle Dwayne Brown. We have not been told by the Texans that Brown is injured. He's over sitting on the bench and looked perturbed.
Well, they have bigger concerns, and mostly it's protecting the football and then moving the ball down the field and trying to take the lead in this game. I'll be honest with you, they're struggling. I think on both sides of the ball are the Houston Texans, playing down to the level right now of the St. Louis Rams.
Notes on Louisiana Tech is in the backfield, 2nd down and 8. Walters in motion, a couple big catches early in the game, and there is Dreesen hit by Vabor. Gain of 5. Vabor is their linebacker at the 24-yard line.
And again, I don't want to take anything away from the Rams. Given what they've been through this week with fighting and battling the flu, they had to clear the building and send players home. They tested every single player for the flu virus and then sent them home. And now they've come out. Steve Spagnuolo has his team ready to play, and they're leading this football game midway through the 3rd quarter.
The nickel secondary, Brown in the backfield, 3rd and 3. Humphrey Johnson, first down, 30-yard line, slanting his way. Laurinaitis was right there. Also a tackle made by Adeyanju. 6-yard pickup and a good 3rd down pass by Schaub.
I think it will check out James Laurinaitis. Look, directing traffic, staying in the underneath area, and then able to swarm and close in on the ball. This is why he is the team's leading tackler. Has a real good sense of where things are going. We asked him if he was hitting that rookie wall. He said that he's only had 4 days off since his freshman year at Ohio State.
Isn't that amazing? He led Ohio State in blocking and tackling 4 consecutive seasons. Brown in the backfield, 1st and 10. Butler lets his guy go by, but some deft moves by the quarterback. That's Andre Davis. Makes the grab. Dahl is there with the hit. 21-yard pickup, another long throw, and now over 4,000 yards as the quarterback, Schaub.
Yeah, watch him come all the way clear back to the other side. See him reading his progression. Started to the right, came back to his left, and that's where he found Andre Davis working the underneath coverage. Too much cushion being given as he breaks this one off. When the ball comes out, he's able to make the grab, creating a new set of downs. And Houston Texans offense right now is on the move.
Left knee, they say, for Brown. So he is out. He had a knee coming into the game today. 1st down and 10 at the 49-yard line of the Rams. Good fake again by Schaub. Here comes Long. Laurinaitis the tackle. 35-yard line, 14-yard pickup. It's another 1st down.
Complete misdirection, bootleg, and that's what they love to do. They love to start this motion going one way, but then he'll reverse it and then watch the tight end dragging across the field to the 2nd level. It's because the linebackers are busy chasing the run to the other side. But watch Laurinaitis. He senses it. He reads it. See him turns. Now maybe he's a step away from Dreesen, but if he's not that close, it's going to be a big play. Laurinaitis had a keen understanding of what the play called for, was able to make the tackle.
Moats in the backfield. The nickel is back there, 1st and 10. Moats ramped up, taken down, hit on the play. Clifton Ryan on a gain of 1 to the 35-yard line. Sometimes, you know, we talk about receivers or running backs reading. The defense has got to read too, and Laurinaitis just did that on his own.
And every time the ball comes to the 2nd level, who's getting up off the pile? Number 55.
Yep.
I think he's just a phenomenal kid. And he talked about how long it has been since that bowl game for Ohio State, where you go through the scouting combine, you go through the pro day workouts, the OTAs, the draft, the mini camp. He said it does make for a long year, but he said it's all about that mental toughness. You've got to fight through it. My body's not used to playing at this time of year.
Jacoby Jones is in, Brown is in, 2nd down 9, and that's a catch, and that is to the 25-yard line, gain of 10. Anderson gets it. Let's go. How about if they go to 7-7 in Nashville?
That would be something else. And Vince Young's playing good football.
Down in the backfield, 1st and 10. Winston provides him time at the right tackle to the end zone. Bartel just about had it. They were going right up against Andre Johnson. Incomplete.
Schaub knows that he's underthrown this one a little bit. This one's got to be upfield to the outside shoulder of Andre Johnson. Look, it's got to be up top, not underneath. That ball's got to be back there toward the pylon and allow Johnson to run underneath it, away from Bartell. Bartell right in his hip pocket, able to make a play.
Like what you said before, Johnson says he's going to pull his game up a notch. I don't know that he can get any better than he is, but he says he wants to finish strong and he wants his teammates to do the same.
I think that's the kind of leadership you have to provide. You know, he's the guy that speaks softly, but boy, does he carry a big stick.
Big stick. Ninth play of the drive, 2nd and 10. Jason. Oh, bad miss by the nickel back, and finally James Butler brings down Dreesen. A catch and run at 23. A whiff by rookie out of Texas A&M, Danny Gore.
Yeah, Gore's got to make this tackle, and we've seen Dreesen drop a couple. How about this? The catch and the run. Not known to be a nifty tight end, but what an excellent play, getting that ball inside the 5-yard line. 25 Gore. You can't just throw a shoulder at the big tight end and expect to get him down.
So on this drive, gains of 21 and a pass to Davis, and 2 nice receptions by Dreesen of 14 and 22 yards.
They've been here before, haven't been able to get the touchdown.
First and goal at the 3. Moats in the backfield. Nice fake again by the quarterback. Schaub, he's got his receiver. That's a touchdown for Kevin Walter. A 3-yard strike. Walter gets it.
It's the naked boot. They isolate Bartell with Kevin Walter. Credit the movement, nifty footwork of their quarterback, Matt Schaub. We talked about it. Look, he'll reverse boot, and then you can see him coming out. He also had the tight end, Dreesen, open. So he had really a choice of 2 guys who were open in the end zone. They knew they had to do something early to create misdirection down inside the red zone to create a touchdown out there.
So that turnover by the Rams, intercepted by Barber. The Texans cash in the extra point by Brown. The 3-yard touchdown pass to Walter. Walter with his 2nd touchdown reception of the season. 5:15 in the 3rd. Matt Schaub just threw his 25th touchdown pass of the season.
And I think a really good play design also by Gary Kubiak, allowing Matt Schaub to make some plays. They needed to convert that red zone possession into a touchdown.
And the ensuing kickoff by Chris Brown. This is Amendola, the 55-yard return, already in his back pocket today against the Texans. And here he goes, weaving the other way. And he was finally grabbed. Looked by Russell, brings him down. 32-yard return.
And our eye control, take a look at the wide receiver, Kevin Walter, to the outside. And then you're going to have also the tight end. You got Dreesen right here. But take a look at it. And this is how they get open. And so you have the reverse action. And so as Bartell starts inside and Walter's able to get to the outside, it's just an easy throw right there. He has, look, he's got 2 guys open. He's got this guy open and he's got that guy open, so you can go to either one on that play.
Couple tight ends on 1st and 10 from the 27-yard line, and Jackson in the backfield and trying to run. Then it's Okoye brings him down, a loss of a yard, and he's back to the 26-yard line. We've seen a lot of turnovers in this ball game today.
Yeah, a lot of miscues. A team that can protect the football is probably going to win. Adrian Foster puts it on the carpet in the 1st quarter. The Rams get it, then they give it right back, and wasted opportunity. And I thought Houston was able to dodge a bullet. And then on a possession inside Houston territory, Keith Null turns it over, picked off by Barber. And then how about Houston able to turn that turnover into points? So both teams have given it away twice so far in the game today.
Tim Bowman, the only non-starter on the defensive line. 2nd and 11. Sam Concato in the backfield. Outside for Kearney. He is their fullback. Hit on the play by Bernard Powell. And there's a gain of a yard to the 26-yard line.
Good play by Barber as he's able to swarm and make a tackle in space. You say it's a game played in space?
Big time hit. You know, we were talking to Gary Kubiak yesterday. We asked him, what was the biggest positive you could find in this season? He said, you know what, our defense, the improvement of our defense has been the thing that really stands out the most.
And playmakers at every level. Remember, they picked up Pollard after he had been released by the Kansas City Chiefs. He has made a difference on the back end, and we already talked about the linebackers, D'Amico Ryans, Brian Cushing, and then I think the addition of Antonio Smith along with Mario Williams. They're playing well up front.
Darby in the backfield, 3rd and 10. Look at that great pass. Caught by Brandon Gibson. He is a rookie. He is out of Washington State, a 6th-round pick by Philadelphia. They traded him here for the linebacker Witherspoon, and he's up to the 45-yard line.
Now watch the linebackers at the 2nd level. See, they get deep, but not deep enough. See, he's way deep, And I think actually DeMeco Ryans was deeper than the receiver. And so you see Pollard coming over to make the catch. Coming over the middle. This is just a nice throw by Null. See, right in traffic with the 4 defenders around him. Excellent throw. We told you Null had some accuracy.
You mentioned if Pollard makes the stop, Jackson back in. Looks like Null might be changing the play. First down and 10 from the 45. Barron, that left tackle, providing time on the clock. Randy McMichael hurtling into Robinson and into Barber. 20-yard catch and run. And he's down. They don't flinch, this Rams team, down to the 35-yard line.
I think it starts with the composure of the young kid from West Texas A&M, Keith Null. Look at this throw. Yeah, they're getting some guys open, but you got to find someone who can make a throw. Randy McMichael makes the catch, but the ball comes out of the hand of Keith Null very quickly and very accurately. It gives the passing game a chance to really create some plays. 14 of 20 so far in the game.
He's the 3rd different starting quarterback they've had this year. They've had Bowler, the former Raven. They had Bulger, the longtime Ram. 9 different receivers. Here's Jackson on 1st and 10. And stood up and taken down. Hit nicely on the play after a gain of a yard. Pollard was in there, and they'll spot him at about the 33-yard line. You know, Null, Division II school, did not go to the combine. They had a workout day in Canyon, Texas at his school, West Texas A&M. About 6 teams expressed interest. The Rams weren't even on his radar. Then they called on the 2nd day of the draft.
Yeah, and how about that? A 6th-round pick. I think he was pleased. In fact, he said his entire family was ecstatic. Those kids would be depressed if they're picked in the 6th round. Right. He was not. 2nd
down and 9 with the nickel secondary facing Null. Back to the receiver. That was Gibson, incomplete. The coverage by Jock Reeves. It'll be 3rd down and 9. We're talking about those quarterbacks beginning with Bulger.
Yeah, Bulger was 1 and 7, but look at the quarterback rating. And after you get sacked so much, then Kyle Bowler comes in. He gets knocked out. He was 0 and 4, and now Null gets a shot. 0 and 1. Quarterback rating steadily declining. That's what you get when you get the 3rd-string quarterback. But at least on this drive, he's showing some promise. He played in a spread offense when he was in college, as you take a look at Kyle Bowler. But I think when you're playing that spread offense in college where you're throwing the ball 70% of the time, sometimes 80 or 90%, you really do learn to control the game at the quarterback position.
Into the nickel on 3rd down and 9. All kinds of pressure from Cushing. That's a little bit high. Reeves was watching Gibson at about the 20-yard line. And that'll be 4th down, and they're going to bring out Josh Brown and try for 3. He's got a good long leg, does Josh Brown of the St. Louis Rams. In fact, over the last 2 seasons, Solomon, he has hit 10 50-yard field goals or longer. This from 52.
He used to be the kicker over in Seattle.
Yes.
He had beaten the Rams so many times they figured if you can't beat them, let's go ahead and purchase him in free agency and bring him over to kick for us.
Well, the drive started back at the 27-yard line. Here was a 52-yard try. He has got it. How about that? 52-yard field goal. You talk about a guy who is money. Null gets his team downfield. The big plays. 18-yard pass downfield to Gibson.
Oh, money well spent in free agency to bring Josh Brown, because this is big time. He pays off the efforts of his offensive football team, unlike what Chris Brown was able to do before the end of the 1st half. And every little bit makes a huge difference at this time of the season when you're trying to win ball games.
McMichael also had a 20-yard reception tonight on 60 Minutes. An amazing journey to where the Christian religion was first organized and the Gospels written. The Sunday before Christmas. It's tonight on CBS. So we're in the Dome in St. Louis. We've got a Rams team which has lost 11 consecutive home games. They come in 1-12, sharing the worst record in the NFL with Tampa Bay. You got a Houston team under Gary Kubiak, who is 6-7, mathematically in. They've got to win out. They got to get some help from other teams. They got this quarterback who may be going to the Pro Bowl with his outstanding season for this Texans ball club.
And good thing for Matt Schaub, he's got the ultimate weapon, named Andre Johnson. Because let's face it, they're going to go to Johnson. And even the Rams know the ball is going to go to Johnson. He's been so good at beating double coverage. Let's see if he can do it late in this ball game.
And so here we go on the kickoff by Chris Brown. They're going to leave it in the end zone. Touchback to the 20, and that's for Schaub. And his offense will take things, play fantasy football during the postseason for a chance to win $5,000. Sign up now for the playoff challenge at cbssports.com/fantasy. So you're on the road You've had your best game of the season last week. You play a 1-12 team this week. You're admittedly flat, finding ways to motivate yourselves, and you're tied at 13 late in the third quarter.
Yeah, it's okay, though. I think as long as they could avoid the turnover bug, you got to believe that you can begin to be productive. I would be concerned defensively not getting stops.
1st and 10, they go outside to Walter. He's hit by Bartell. He's driven backwards, and he's out to about after a gain of 2, the 23-yard line. How did you like the way the Texans absorbed the loss of Owen Daniels, who was such an important factor of Schaub's passing success?
Dave Anderson, I think, has been able to pick up some of that production. They've gone to more 3 wide receivers. He's been the guy making a few more plays, especially on 3rd down. But we've seen Joel Dreesen made a big play on that last possession, but we also seen him drop what would have been a touchdown pass.
Moats in the game, 2nd down and 8. You got the pitch. You got a good block inside, too, from Dreesen. You see Dahl stepping on him right there, 26-yard line. Gain of 4. We should mention that Arian Foster, who has been a big part of this offense last couple weeks, the undrafted kid out of Tennessee, was off the practice squad after 10 weeks on. Fumbled early in the game. We have not seen him since. You know how Kubiak feels about fumbles.
He's seen enough of it. He's seen way too many fumbles by his running back, whether it's Foster, whether we've seen Moats put it on the ground, and Chris Brown has fumbled the ball at crucial times, as have Steve Slayton. So they need someone reliable to carry the rock for Houston.
Brown is in right now. The nickel secondary for the Rams. 3rd down and 4. Hit by Long. Good catch by Hughes. Talking about Anderson, and he drags the defender King right with him. He's got the 1st down to the 31. Picks up 5, and the Texans will have a 1st down when we come back. But look at our score in St. Louis. It's 13-13. How do you motivate a 1-12 team against a solid team like Houston? How has Steve Spagnuolo done this?
I think Steve Spagnuolo, when you talk to James Laurinaitis, he says, hey, you know what? We're not allowed to look back at our past failings. He told the team, hey, if we were reversing our record at 12-1, we would still have to move on and look forward to the next game.
And Brown drops the ball on 1st down and 10, first play of this 4th quarter. Schaub over 4,000 yards for the season with his passing today, and he's thrown a touchdown pass.
Well, you drop the ball and you'll end up dropping the game. Missed opportunities. Chris Brown, he's known as a downhill runner, not a real good catcher of the ball coming out of the backfield.
2nd down and 10.
Now it's 2nd down and 10. There's Foster. He fumbled earlier. There's Brown. He just dropped the pass. Slayton is out for the season with some nerve damage in his neck, and he had all kinds of fumble problems. It's 2nd down and 10. Moats is now in. Andre's a motion to the bottom of your screen. Will get the ball. Will they get that block in? They try. They cover it well with James Butler among the many. It's only a gain of a yard to the 32-yard line.
That was the 7th catch of the game for Andre Johnson. Boy, as he put up some good numbers, had 100 yards receiving by the time we got to halftime, worked it against Bartell. You can see him getting separation. You can see him getting to the back end of the defense, creating big plays. His willingness to go over the middle, I think, shows his courage and his ability to do the dirty work that's needed at the wide receiver position. Thrown to 8 times, he's caught it 7 times for a $122. How would you like that percentage?
Something else. 3rd down 9. They got the nickel secondary. Brown is back in the backfield. Anderson did not get the 1st down. Great defensive play by Ron Bartell. It's only a gain of 5. They're going to spot him at the 37-yard line. Bartell is out of Howard. He's a 2nd-round pick, and he's played well today.
Playing in the secondary, you only need to be close enough to make the tackle sometimes. You keep all the receivers in front of the sticks, like Bartell does there, and then you come up and secure the tackle, eliminating yards after the catch. Excellent play on defense in the secondary.
6 plays punt. 14-year veteran Matt Turk will let this baby fly. Deep back is Amendola. Waves it off. Oh, it hit a Rams player. It was recovered at the 23-yard line. It will be the Texans still on defense. Each quarterback has thrown a touchdown pass. Each team has turned it over twice. One team is 1-12. One team is 6-7. 1 moments ago by the Texans. 1st down and 10 yards to go from the 23-yard line. Steven Jackson. Catch him at the tight end with the block. Look at him busting free. He's a beast. 12-yard run up to the 35-yard line. This kid is, playing on a 1-12 team and playing this well.
And he had the flu this week. He was out of work for 2 days and still able to come in. Look, the stiff arm given to Bernard Pollard. Look at the many white jerseys draped on him and falling off until he goes out of bounds. This is where he gets warmed up, and this is where he looks to put teams away and close out ball games.
First down at the 35. Jackson out of the gun, hit on the play and brought down. That Connor Barwin down there, and a gain of 2 to the 37. Coming up, the Subway post-game show. Join JB and company for the latest scores, news, and highlights, all from New York. The Subway post-game show next on CBS. In your mind, is there a great deal of difference between a 1-win team and a 6-win team in the National Football League?
Not really. Not on any given Sunday, particularly when you start to turn it over like we've seen the Houston Texans. They can beat you. Look at Steven Jackson. Most in team history in terms of career rushes for this football team.
4 in the secondary. Second down, long 8. Donnie Avery. Zach Dials. And the clock continues to tick. He's close to a first down. Oh, oh my gosh, we have a huge brawl. Pollard has gone in to get Jackson.
Remember the stiff arm given earlier? There was some John between the two early on. You have to wonder if Bernard Pollard is overreacting from that last confrontation.
It's one of the reasons why he was let go in Kansas City. He had a hard time with his emotions on and off the field.
So what, the guy stiff-armed you? Come back and make a tackle.
Oh, look, he's got a bloody lip too now, does Steven Jackson.
And Pollard's being pulled off the field.
Beasing will take his place.
There were fouls on both teams on the play. Personal foul 31 and 39. The penalties offset. The result of the play is 3rd and 1. 3rd down.
Okay, there it is at the top of your screen. Right here. Look at that. Okay, now that's not NFL caliber of behavior that we want.
Well, we showed some wrestlers before. We got some wrestlers here on our turf today.
Punches being thrown before the wrestling.
Yep.
That's why they're going to get a letter in the mail from 280 Park, the headquarters of the National Football League.
Get the checkbook out.
Absolutely.
Get the checkbook out. So Darby will take the place of Jackson. Beasing will be. Nope, they're going to bring Pollard back in the game. Pollard is back in. Now watch before. It's a play before.
Okay, now
look at Amendola.
That's what Amendola. So he threw Amendola to the ground. He could have been thrown for a flag there, but wasn't.
Good play. 3rd and 1. Darby is in. Of Alabama, he's got the first down. Hit by Pollard. 46-yard line. Gain of 3. First down for the kid who was undrafted out of Alabama, Kenneth Darby.
Now Pollard will tackle. This is where he's been a huge addition. Listen up. At the second level, being very physical. You know, the National Football League is about controlled aggression. Play between the whistles, not after the whistle.
Easily said than done. I mean, that's just tough. You know, get out there, start hitting the guy all game long. First down and 10. Darby is in and brought down on the play. Big hit by Glover Quinn. Gain of a yard. And they'll put him at the 47-yard line. And there was D'Amico Ryans. He had a hand in it as well. As they continue to work on the cut lip, Steven Jackson.
Gain of 1, 2nd down and 9, St. Louis.
They're trying to do their best to stop the bleeding before they send him back in. As you're faced with a 2nd and long, let's see if they'll continue to run it or let Null make a play throwing the football.
2nd and 9. Skinina is the only non-starter on the defensive line for the Texans. Here is Null. Gibson. Driven out by Dials. Zach Dials with the hit. Gain to the 45. Picks up 5 yards on the play.
All right. Null can get the ball outside the numbers. This is a long throw from one hash clear over to the sideline. Ball's not in the air. Long, right on the numbers of Gibson. So the accuracy and the velocity you're seeing from this kid, Craig Null, or Keith Null, I should say. You can see this drive, 6 plays, 29 yards. doing their best to try to put the icing on the cake and take the lead away from Houston.
3rd down and 1. Maybe again. Wilson had a hand on him, and it'll be close to a 1st down. Also, D'Amico Ryans was there, Zach Dials there, and the spot will be at about the 44, maybe just inside the 44-yard line. You know, the players of the Rams will always point to the positive aspects given by their coach, Steve Spagnuolo. He's a very positive guy. He still talks about all the things in the silver lining in what has been a disastrous 1-12 season.
Well, yeah, I think the ability to keep them focused on what comes next and not looking back and telling his team that, hey, if our record was reversed, if we were 12-1, we'd have to move on from the last week, and so we're going to continue to press forward. He said even in practice, they don't coach the players like, remember that mistake that you made last week? They are always looking forward. They don't bring up the past failings of a player or mistakes made in games, but they're continuing to stay positive in their approach to teaching and coaching the football players as we see Steven Jackson come back into the ball game.
And probably a little bit more than irritating.
Absolutely. Hey, he's the last guy you want to irritate.
Robinson is on that defensive line. 1st down and 10, 44-yard line. Bowman was on the line too as the right defensive end, going deep and looking for Gibson against Reeves. No yellow on the field. There's an incomplete pass. It was at the 8-yard line.
Reeves defending for the Texans.
2nd and 10. Reeves, the former Cowboy, covering.
They're going to take a shot down the field. Look at that. Okay, as we go down the field, wanted to show you Bernard Pollard. He was blitzing on the play. As we see, this is excellent coverage by Jacques Reeves on Gibson, but Pollard was blitzing on the play, and he and Jackson met again in the backfield. That time they had better behavior.
Into the nickel. No, we'll look at a 2nd down and 10. Jackson in the backfield, and the call on stops Scanina.
Jackson
makes the stop. Jeff Scanina, 39 years old, 17 years out of Purdue. He played for the Rams years ago. Loss of 2, back to the 47-yard line.
Scanina been around a long time with several teams.
He played with the general manager.
National Football League. Absolutely.
That is old. He's got a grown family. He's played for 8 teams over his 17 years. 2nd oldest defensive player in the NFL, and back of Junior Sam. Wow. We'll see Junior next week. You and I will up in New England.
You can play as long as Junior when you don't have to go to training.
3rd down and 12. Wow. Drilled. What a great play by Connor Barwin. He's blocked a pass today. He comes up with a big sack, loss of 11. They got to punt the ball back to the 43.
We told you he's a playmaker. There he comes, right up the gut. He started to the outside and just peeled his way around. Watch him come right into your kitchen, right into the face of Keith Null.
Wow. He was a tight end for a while at Cincinnati. Then they switched him to defensive end his senior year. A guy who was a walk-on of the basketball team. Great athlete. We saw it right there. They got a punt, 10 plays and punt. Jones is deep end. Oh, nice kick and a roll for the Rams. It'll be down at the 9-yard line. That is a terrific punt by Donnie Jones. One of the best in the NFL. 48-yard punt. Wilcox, Kevin Harlan, a punt moments ago after 10 plays by the Rams. They're tied at 13. Middle of the 4th. 1st and 10. Schaub gets away from Long. Chased by Clifton Ryan. Throws a short pass uncatchable. There's a flag thrown at about the 21-yard line. Boy, no one was open. Good coverage by the Rams.
Yeah, how about Schaub getting out of there? He felt that pocket closing in.
Before the pass was thrown, holding defense number 31. It's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. An automatic 1st down.
All right, Wednesday on Showtime. JB, Phil Simms, Chris Collinsworth, Warren Sapp come your way with the Emmy Award-winning Inside the NFL, cable's longest-running show. It's Inside the NFL. Wednesday is on Showtime. That was the first penalty of the half right there. It is a 1st down. Moats in the backfield. Ryan Moats. Oh, he was gobbled up by Darrell Scott. No gain. They'll stay where they were at about the 14-yard line. Do you sense there's a bit of impatience with Gary Kubiak down in Houston?
Well, yeah, the team is traded right around 500, finishing 8-8 under Gary Kubiak the last few years. And so everyone thought this would be the year they would make that next step. And they were 5-3 after 8 games, 2 games above 500 for the first time in franchise history, and then proceeded to lose 4 straight games. And in those 4 games, they lost by an average of 4.8 points per game. So they didn't make that step, and so there is a sense of frustration.
Into the nickel on second down and 10. Another good fake by Schaub going deep. He's looking for Johnson. He's got him. He got rid of King. He's hit by Null. He's got the first down, racing his way to the 44-yard line. A nice pickup by perhaps the best receiver in the NFL. A 30-yard pickup, and it's a first down.
The Rams will tell you he's the best one. Watch him going over the middle. Now, he's well covered, but he plays the ball well, and I love the way Schaub throws him open. See how he allows him to come back to the ball, and even though you have 2 or 3 Rams defenders, only the white jersey can close in on it. And you can see there's a lot of Ram guys there, but he finds his way back to the ball. And I think he plays and tracks the ball in the air as well as any receiver in the league.
Chris Brown is in the backfield, first and 10 from a 44-yard line. Schaub again, giving time. Butler, the left tackle, with a block, and they got Johnson again. He gets by Null. The ball is loose, but it was on the chalk. He was already out of bounds. The catch and run take him to the 12-yard line, and he picks up 44 after a pickup of 30 on the play before.
We talk about throwing a guy open. He throws this clear to the open area, and Johnson and Schaub are just on the same page because he knew where the ball was going. He let him open, and boy, did he track it and go get it.
Catches of 44, 30 yards, and 38 yards by Johnson today. Now down to the 12 when the Texans need him most. He has come on this drive with some great receptions. First down and 10. Brown is in the backfield. The fake end around. This is Chris Brown, who was gobbled up and taken down on the play by James Hall. No gain on the play. They'll stay at the 12.
Quickly, let's take a look at that last play on our eye control, and we're going to talk to you about throwing the receiver open and see how here's the open area. And that ball is just thrown right in this area where only his guy can get it. Just an excellent throw from Matt Schaub.
You've got perhaps the best wide receiver in the National Football League out there, adjusting his route with that great speed and terrific hands.
Now they need to make a play in the red zone.
He is 1 in a million. Around the backfield, second down and 10. Winston provides time at that right tackle. Then it collapses. There's a throw in the middle, but it was, I'm sure, throwing an incomplete pass.
Yes, arm was clearly going forward.
Duzable was in the middle right there. So that makes it third down and 10 for Matt Schaub, who I think proved a lot to his teammates a couple weeks ago in Jacksonville when he took that hit, separated his left shoulder, and came back in the game.
Yeah, this play is going to clearly show that his arm was going forward. See, when the ball came out, that's just an incomplete pass.
You know, that the guts they're talking about, a guy who's missed a lot of games over his Houston career, that proved a lot to his teammates.
Yeah, this is now his 8th 300-yard passing game this season.
And third down and 10. Jacoby Jones. Nice block by Winston. Look at the read. Null was right there. Gain of 2 to the 10. They read it well. They're not playing like a 1-12 team, are they?
Hey, the Rams are playing inspired on defense. You know, late in the game, they're sensing that they can make a play. Look at Bartell. He's closing in other defenders. And look at that. Craig Dahl coming up, securing the tackle on Jacoby Jones. Now let's see if Chris Brown can convert after a spectacular drive from Matt Schaub in the offense.
Well, he's missed 4 inside 40 this season, the most in the NFL. He's had 3 blocks. It's a 28-yard drop for the lead. With 4:37 to play, 36. And so Schaub gets him in field goal range, but they can't get it in again. Texans have had it 4 times in the red zone. They've come up with 3 field goals and just 1 touchdown pass.
Give a lot of credit to Steve Spagnuolo and the Rams defense. They're well prepared in that area of the field. And you're right, the Houston Texans have to be more creative in terms of how they're going to get it into the end zone.
And Amendola will take it out. And from behind, taken down by a superb special teamer in Davis. 24-yard return next Sunday. The Schaub, who has again connected with Andre Johnson, who's had big-time receptions today. His 6th 100-yard game this year for the talented wide receiver for the Texans. And this kid, a rookie, who's playing much better today than he did last week with 5 picks against Tennessee.
Yeah, Keith Null's got to be able to move his team down the field.
Fake end around, screen pass as a block by Krekel. Here's Steven Jackson, and he's loose. Over Quinn, trips him up, brings him down. Smith falls on him near midfield. A hard-earned catch and run of 25 yards and a first down.
17 of 26, and watching as he'll just clear out. And see, they can create a little lane for him right there between the offensive linemen. You create space to get Steven Jackson to the next level. He's going to break tackles, and he's going to create a positive gain.
First down and 10 from the 48. Into the nickel. Hand off to Jackson. He was devoured by Okoye. A loss of a yard. And he's back to about the 46-yard line.
Boy, that's just an easy completion. I thought it was a good call by Pat Shurmur, the offensive coordinator by the Rams. If Null is going to throw it, why not just a quick little screen play to Steven Jackson, who can create yards after the catch? Sooner or later, though, Null, who's already attempted 26 passes in this game, going to have to continue to push the ball down the field.
Second down and 11. Still the nickel. You see the assortment of receivers. Jackson in the backfield. Oh, hit and brought down Antonio Smith, who's had a decent game today, coming through with his second sack of the season. He had 5 in 07. He had 5 last year. He comes up with number 2 right there. The loss back to the 38.
94. Watch it. You just come in. I don't know how Null holds on to the ball.
I don't either.
Boy, did he take a lick from Smith.
It's a loss of 8. Defense tightening their screws perhaps just a little bit right here.
It's always done with pressure. You want to put games away when the defense is on the field. It starts with putting pressure on the quarterback.
Third down and 18. They need the 42 of Houston. Long way to go. Darby. Cushing finally tries to get him and does after a 9-yard catch and run. Timeout quickly taken by the Rams. 48-yard line is where the catch and run took him. So the Rams have 2 timeouts. The Texans have 2 timeouts. 2:34 in the game. We've got 2.5 to play here in the 4th. It's 4th and 10. They're going to punt the ball. We thought maybe they might go for it, but they're going to bank on their defense, perhaps stopping the Texans. So here is a punt by Donnie Jones. And Jacoby Jones is back. He plays it inside the 20, which they do with ease. Grant is down there with a bunch of others. And they down at about the 14-yard line in a 38-yard punt. Schaub comes back out. You see the timeout story remaining, and coming up on the Subway postgame show, JB, Dan, Shannon Boomer, and Coach Cowher. News, scores, and highlights around the National Football League. It's coming up on the Subway postgame show from our CBS studios in New York. All right, you lead by 3. You've got a couple timeouts. You're Matt Schaub. Take us inside that helmet.
Here's the thing. You would love to be able to put this game away and put it on ice if you're Houston by running the football. Remember, they don't run it that well. That means your quarterback, Matt Schaub, is going to have to put it away, throwing the ball and completing passes.
2 tight ends. Moats in the backfield. Moats gets the call. There's a block by Leach, and that springs him free to the secondary, where Bartell makes the stop up to the 22 and picks up about 8 yards on the play. Nice run by Ryan Moats from Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, you got to, I guess, stick with the run game if you're Gary Kubiak and give Moats a shot. But remember, Moats has put the ball on the ground in the past. Can you trust him to close out this game running it with a running back who has not secured the football? Sooner or later, Schaub's going to have to throw the ball. He's been red hot here in the second half. 16 of 20 for 178 yards and a touchdown in the second half alone.
We talked to the Texans yesterday, and they said the last part of this puzzle is finishing off opponents, finishing games.
Here's their chance.
They have struggled doing this.
Yeah, and here's their chance to do it. They got the ball. 2 minutes, 19 seconds left in the game. Let's see if they can put it away.
Second down and 3. Moats remains. Leach leads the way. Comes into the pile, and it looks like the tackle was made in there by Darrell Scott, close to a first down. Somebody lost their helmet. The good news is the head was not inside the hat. It was Scott who got him. We're at the 2:09 mark, as you can see. Although the clock inside here says 2:18, we say 2:09. I'm going to have to go with the clock inside the stadium. So our clock is about 9 seconds off. And we will correct that with the timeout taken by St. Louis. But finishing off games is easier said than done. I mean, it's a tough thing for a team to learn how to do.
Yeah, the Rams use a timeout. It's going to be 3rd and short. So Spags believe that they can get the stop here. They still have that 2-minute warning as a timeout. But if they can get the stop, Houston will have to punt the football. So this is a significant down if you're Steve Spagnuolo and the St. Louis Rams. You've got to get a stop in order to get the ball. He's telling all his guys, get up. We got to crowd the line of scrimmage because he's expecting Houston to go with a quick count.
3rd and 1, Moats remains. Schaub has taken this himself last couple times, but this time it's off to Moats. Oh, I don't know if he got it. You know what? He probably did.
I think he did. He was laying on bodies as he crossed over the 25-yard line.
Yep, get it. He did.
He took a lick, though.
Yeah, he did. He was helmet to helmet with somebody, and so they do give him a gain of 2. Ryan Moats, where they're down to just fumes in the running backs. Guys are fumbling. They're not seeing the light of day, and so Moats is counted upon. There's Schaub talking with Kubiak. They'll be in the victory formation. No timeouts remaining for the Rams. They just got the first down. A huge play by Ryan Moats. They're going to go to a knee in a season filled with high expectations for these Houston Texans. You can take a look at the playoff picture right there. Miami, by the way, is trailing right now. When the owner comes out and says, I expect a playoff berth for this team, that pretty much sets the table for your ball club for the year.
He's certainly expected to finish better than 500. Gary Kubiak and the Texans have an opportunity to do that. They have a chance to finish at 9-7 on the year. Need a lot of help. Now, a Miami loss actually helps the Houston Texans. But, of course, they're losing to the Tennessee Titans, who are a little bit ahead of Houston. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all shakes out. But all you can do, and what Kubiak told us right now, all he is focused on is trying to win these remaining games. He told us at this point, that's all that counts.
Headset will come off. Here's what's on tap. They've got Miami next week, and then they close out against the New England Patriots in Houston. So they got to win out, and they got to get a bunch of help, as Gary Kubiak is going to get his first win in a dome. In fact, this is the franchise's first win in a dome. They were 0-10 coming into today, and Gary Kubiak in the month of December, Solomon, pretty impressive. He'll go to 12-6 as the coach of the Texans.
Yeah, they've been able to finish some of these seasons really strong, and they've been 6-7 at this point in the year. 3 of the 4 years he's been their head coach. And
they set a franchise record with their 4th road win. Now they got Miami coming up, and just as a side note, Houston is 4-0 all-time against the Miami Dolphins. Schaub goes over 4,000 yards on the season with just under 370 yards passing today. His 8th 300-yard passing game. He threw a touchdown pass, which is number 25. And the Houston Texans will go to 7-7, 4-3 on the road. Solomon Wilcott's, Kevin Harlan saying so long. Coming up, the Subway postgame show from New York will take you to our CBS studios for the scores and highlights after this. Happy holidays, everyone, from all of us at CBS Sports.